swift hair removal, and a lubricating strip that keeps things smooth. Dollar Shave Club razors are sold at dollarshaveclub.com or in stores. Tim Legler giving the Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Morning, Tim.
Morning. I wish I felt as good in the morning right now as LeBron did last night. Oof. You know, my body doesn't feel nearly as good. All I did was sleep.
Look, he played in the league for like 6 years. What the hell are we seeing?
He looks like now he could play into his mid-40s like Tom Brady. Like, these guys are completely redefining what we consider to be old for an athlete.
Yeah, and he did
what I saw last night, it just defied logic. He's been fantastic for a while now, right? This run he's been on. But last night in particular, he was playing with the bounce of a 25-year-old.
Legs, that's why this morning I said Dan Gilbert needs to pull him and Rich Paul in the damn room and sit there and say, what percentage of the Cavs do you want? And Rich Paul, do you want to run this organization one day? Because what I'm watching right now, what I'm witnessing is something I've never seen before. Not only could you play the tail end of your career here, and not only could we draft Bronny James, whatever you want to do, we can figure it out. But what he brings to a franchise, that dunk he had last night, his head was above the rim at 37 years old, Legs. Why wouldn't you make that move if you're Dan Gilbert?
It's a good question. I mean, one of the things I think about with something like that, and you've been around enough people in this industry to know, like, the biggest egos maybe I've ever met are people that own teams. So, like, is there still some carryover from that? What Gilbert and LeBron went through. Maybe LeBron James wants a fresh start with a completely different organization whenever he goes down that road. But what's interesting about all of this is, prior to this year, it was easier to envision LeBron in that role. Like, right now, I'm looking at LeBron James and saying, well, at what point is this guy going to be willing to walk away from the game when he's playing at this level and he looks this way
leading
physically?
the league in scoring efficiently?
But that's my point. This is leverage, Legs.
Yeah.
Because he's playing at this level, okay, like, what's going on here, LA? What are we doing? Are you guys making the right moves? Where do I want to take my talents? Somewhere that I can have leverage because of how I'm playing that can lead to an equity stake within the team.
Maybe he becomes the first player coach in the league since who did that last? Bill Russell?
Bill Russell.
Coach the Lakers and play. That's LeBron's next move.
Man.
Right? I mean, he's been doing it his whole career anyway. I mean, he's coaching these teams. Come on, let's be honest about it. Let's just actually make him the player coach, though, and see how that would go.
Legs, based on what you saw last night, how much longer do you think LeBron can keep this up? I know you don't want to put a number on it, but I'm like, he can't do this past 39, 40.
Well,
can't do it.
Even more pressing key is this. And I don't know that they're even going to make it into a best of 7 this year. I mean, they might go home in the play-in format. They might be sent home. But assuming that they made it out and somehow they got into a best of 7, one of these top teams in the West, to ask him to do this every other night against an elite defense, like, that's going to be the thing that's going to wear him down. Because right now, as great as he's playing, he's getting these teams that have had like one shoot around to even talk about LeBron James. So, and he feels fresh. Sometimes you get 2 nights off between games right now. You're playing some mediocre defenses right now. All that goes away. So I think that's the next challenge. Like, can he do this at this level as a scorer against an elite level defense in a best of 7 series and actually, like, maybe make that interesting, take it to a game 6 or 7, or maybe even win a series? That I'm not exactly sure about. I think right now what he feels is a regular season run where he feels great physically, and he's playing a lot of teams that are not great defensive teams right now.
I also think who personnel-wise, who's on this team? Because I would just say, all right, LeBron, like, let's play more of a power forward position. You're an elite passer. You catch the ball in transition, make your plays, but kind of make him one of those passers where he's a little bit more aggressive, but from the power forward position.
Yeah, no, I like it. And I think, he said last night he's having the time of his life. And the reason he said it, Jay, and I'm convinced of this, and you know this because you were a point guard and you were a hell of a scorer. But you also always had responsibility in the back of your mind as a point guard about you got to make the game easier for other people, right?
Yep.
He doesn't have to do that right now. They took that off his plate. So right now all they're saying is, LeBron, just go be a raw scorer. All you have to think about is attacking. And I think that's been fun for him because he thinks the game differently, right? He thinks the game as a facilitator, which is ironic because he's going to end up with over 40,000 points. But 2 years from now, by next year All-Star break, he's the all-time leading scorer in the history of the game. And he never thought like a real scorer. But he gets these runs sometimes where he gets to, depending on who's available to play with him. Right now with AD out, it's been go score. And he's having fun doing that, and that's what he meant by that. So right now, that is how they're operating their offense. I just think still this is a dead end for the Lakers. You don't have an unmitigated disaster as a regular season and then just go and make a run in the postseason in the Western Conference.
I agree.
You just don't do
He's
it.
38-6 on 35% from three at his age. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I got to get to Embiid and
By the way,
Sixers.
he had a triple-double last night, didn't score a 3.
What's that?
LeBron James had a triple-double
Yeah, right.
last
He's
night.
unbelievable.
38-point triple-double, didn't score a 3.
You run out of adjectives
That
and
fadeaway
superlatives.
jumper is flowing right now.
Real quick, Tim, before you get out of here, what'd you make of the fact that Embiid and Harden didn't play? Tyrese Maxey looked good, right? And they beat the Heat.
I take nothing out of it whatsoever. Nothing. The only way they win that game is because Miami clearly they were taken off guard by those guys not playing. They were flat. Look, Maxey was incredible. And if they want to do anything in the postseason, Tyrese Maxey has to be included more like that level. Look at the game before that. They played Toronto. They lose at home. Tyrese Maxey takes one meaningless shot in the fourth quarter, an uncontested dunk with 8 seconds left. That's the only shot he took in the entire fourth quarter. You see what he's capable of. So I don't take anything out of last night. I'm actually just more disgusted by the fact that Embiid and Harden sit. Second time Harden has sat against the Heat since he got there. To me, it's disrespectful to the league, to the fans, and to the regular season. You rendered the regular season meaningless to a large degree by doing that as often as star players do it. And to do that against